You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Hello, good evening everybody. This is Ninja hosting for you this evening while Kate has a much deserved and well-needed night off. I'm going to be having Paul join me shortly, and we're going to be having a bit of a chat about this, that and the other as we do. But before I do that, I'm actually going to read the daily register ritual, and the reason I'm going to read that is because I've been asked to read it and record it for use on a video, and so I thought, well, this show is recorded and I've got an opportunity to do that, so that later on those who make the videos for the Cartes Kids Cove can pick that up and use it. So what I'm going to do is do that straight away, and then we can get that out of the way, and then we can move on to what we've got planned for this evening. So, Paul, I can see you on the board, mate, but as I've just explained, I'm going to read this first, and then I'm going to open up your line, and then we can have a wee chat. So here we go, everybody. Now, I'm going to read it a little bit slower than I might normally do for purposes of making it very clear, because this is, for a video. So here we go. The daily register ritual and how to bust it. We all know about the legal name fraud via the birth certificate registration process. This register process results in a spiritual contract which allows others to rule over our divine feminine creative essence, while all use of that registered legal name results in a life of voluntary, if ignorant, slavery. Any contract based in fraud is null and void once the fraud is revealed. And it has been revealed. However, not everyone is fully aware of all of this. For those who are aware and still sending their children into the school systems, there is the matter of the forgotten daily register or register. Yes, we forgot, didn't we? We forgot all about that morning and afternoon ritual when the teacher reads the names out loud from the class register, with eyes down, waiting for verbal responses from each child to confirm their presence and, more importantly, agree to being that registered legal name. No more time to teach your children they are not a legal name. And teach them to stop answering, to stop contracting in voice when the teacher calls that legal name from the class register. No more automatic replies of "Here, miss," or "Present, sir." No more daily reinforced contract Let the children sit silent, smiling. Let their silence force the teacher to look up and see them and make eye contact with them. At first, the teachers will be confused. Silence usually means absence. So, no doubt, the teacher will ask them, I just called your name. Why didn't you respond? And then, the golden moment of truth. That is not me. The legal name you seek is written in that register of yours. Arm your children with any amount of printed material to hand to their teacher to further explain their new position. For example, Babylon is fallen, the long and the short of it, I who shall not be legally named, etc., all by Kate of Gaia. This will ultimately force teachers to acknowledge the presence of their students by witnessing with the evidence of their own eyes those living beings who are in attendance. Breaking the earliest spells and contracts within the current education, or better termed indoctrination system, can be easily achieved. No more ritual, fictional, system-registered legal name calling in class. As all children learn what is really going on, their choices and voices will affect ever greater change in the school system, which will, by default, cease to exist entirely, or it will morph into a consenting group of beings who simply wish to come together to share ideas and learn whatever they wish to learn in any given moment of now. Curriculums will cease to exist. Teachers will become something like supportive assistants. School buildings will become gathering spaces for all. No legal names, no contracts, just fun. Okay, thanks for putting up with me while I read that out, everybody, and I'm now going to move on to see, I'm going to open up Paul's mic now. Hey, Paul.
What's happening, Ninj?
What's happening?
Yeah, I was just listening to that. It was nice.
Yeah, a slight blip there in there. I might be able to re-record that part and have that inserted. Oh, the power of editing, huh? So there we are. But
That's
anyway,
it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said nice to you a couple of days ago, I never really learned anything at school. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't until I left that I actually started to educate myself.
This is interesting, isn't it? Because I think what we learn in school, obviously, a lot of potentially useless factoids and numbers and dates and measurements. But yes, I mean, but But thank goodness for the day and age we now live in, where everything is at the click of a mouse in terms of information and research ability. And so, wow. Yeah, the children today, I mean, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I mean, it's going crazy. Did you see earlier the latest update from the UK, Paul, with our little white knight? with our little white knight and her friends. The Daily Register ritual, people, please listen to this, everybody, has today, not today, when was it? Yesterday or the day before, been busted. Those kids didn't answer to the names when they were called out of the register in school. It's already happened. I mean, my gosh, I was so excited. I didn't read that until this morning. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, it's done, isn't it? I mean, how many dones does it have to be done?
Yeah, it's like everybody who's translating a lot of case documents, the Babylon Has Fallen document. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Like what I was saying yesterday about the 72 languages. As soon as that's translated into the 72 languages, the game over. That's, it's already game over now. But when that's translated into the 72 languages of the world, what can you say? Wasn't that I find that really interesting, like?
Yeah, well, indeed. I mean, we. Oh, by the way, let me put a shout out for translators. I mean, look, people, this isn't. Well, how can I explain it? There's no official translations. Let me make that clear. These are as the Kate of Gaia Trans WordPress site explains on the homepage. The translations are user translations. They're done voluntarily. I don't, pre-order them. I don't have a team of translators who I say, oh, you're going to do this one next. It isn't like that. What it is people just decide to do it, and they send me the document, and they can choose which ones they do. They're not obliged to do any particular one. Obviously Babylon Has Fallen has seemed to inspire a lot of people to come forward and translate that one first. Hopefully those same people or other people with that particular language skill will translate some of the others too. So what I want to do is put a call out for translators of languages that are as yet not on the site. We would really, really, really like somebody to do a Cantonese, maybe an Urdu, or some of these other languages that are not necessarily Western European, Eastern European. Yeah. So if anybody has that ability, and I'm sure there must be someone, please do go to the Kate of Gaia Trans .wordpress.com site and have a look around and see what's there, or just go to the Kate's Writings page, kateofgaia.wordpress.com, Kate's Writings, and have a look at what's there and see if you can translate any of it. Be very, very grateful.
Yeah, hats off to everybody who's took their time out to do this. Hats off to them. Like,
it's actually an extremely difficult thing to do. I know because I happen to be around the guy that translates the Norwegian stuff, Stråler, and it when you're very careful, when you're painstaking, when you're determined to get not only the accuracy but the intent and the deep, sort of resonant feeling of the original document, then that's going to give you some brain ache. That's going to put you through some changes. And it's, not easy.
Exactly.
So it is a very, very difficult thing to do, and it is very, very much appreciated. So, yeah, anyway, so that's that out of the way on the trannies. We call them trannies for obvious reasons. Well, it just came to me, and I thought,
sounds better, doesn't it? Sounds better, twang it.
Yeah, the pun was definitely intended. I mean, obviously, with Kate being transgender, and what else are you going to call a translation? That was come on. So that's what that.
Exactly.
for anybody who didn't twig onto that just yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what did we want to talk about tonight, Paul?
I don't know, Nancy. I think we were going to speak about a bit of history and a bit about, the Celtic Bryphonic peoples and basically taking it back to this what's it, Kate calls it, religiopsychosis, chosenitis.
Religiocosis, chosenitis, but religiocosis.
Yeah, that's a line, that is a line. And this Hebrew connection to Scotland and, well, I would say to Ireland, Scotland and Wales. Do you know, bits and bobs about that now. Like I was reading today, say about the Celtic Empire, and a lot of people haven't really heard much of the Celtic Empire. That was, when I get the date right, that would be 800 BC. And I was thinking, that would be the same time as the Phoenician Empire. They had their empire going up. That was for 6,000 years before Carthage was sacked by the Romans. So the Phoenicians and the Celtics must have came across each other on their travels and probably done a fair bit of trading by the looks of things, Ninja, because they're finding stuff. They start to refer to the Celtic nations as during the Hallstatt period, and that was because they found lots of Celtic gold and stuff buried in Austria. And so you start to look at the Celtic empires, and it stretched from Ireland to Asia Minor. Because when you look at Newgrange in Ireland, there's a lot of stones outside, and they have basically carvings on the stone that came from Asia Minor. So it shows that the Celtic nations, they weren't as savage and as stupid as what the Romans portrayed us to be savage-like and uncouth, you could say, And so I started to look into that a long time ago, but as I say, Ninja, we was going to speak about it. I had to basically do a wee bit of research today, get it fresh in my mind for tonight, do you know what I mean? So I've been looking at that and basically looking at how the empire basically stretched, as I say, for Asia Minor, and that's in Germany, and you know what I mean? It's all over basically Western Europe as well. You could have classed as the Celtic peoples, and when I started to look at that a while back, I started to look at. They said that the Celts were the first to do roads. The Romans, we built the roads, but it was actually the Celtic peoples. What they would do is they would cut down a tree, and they would lay the trees out. So basically, the trees were the roads. And if basically the road needed fixed, they would just cut down another tree and put that down, basically. So there was a network of roads, probably, as what I would say, probably stretched from Brittany and France to Asia Minor. Basically all wooden roads. But then the Romans come along and they build these hardened roads, and you start to look into that, and it makes you think, And as I was saying,
fascinating. This is fascinating to me because what you're saying to me is that there's a hidden history, isn't there?
Yeah.
Let's suppose that anything that Rome says perhaps ought to be put in the mirror and reversed. So then, if they were saying the Celts were an ignorant, dirty bunch of whatever,
we sacked them.
No. So that's obviously not quite
we
right.
sacked them when basically you could say that the Romans in the River Tigris were still living in mud huts. We sacked Rome, and I think the Romans probably got a bit better about that, And there's actually quite a funny story that after they had sacked Rome, they were basically taxing everybody, and the Romans were moaning, saying, "Your Celtic weights, your weights are too heavy." And one of the Celtic kings, he says, "Pardon, blah, 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 your weights are too heavy." So he took his sword out and put his sword on top of the weights, and says, "Well, that'll even it out." So basically,
So in other words, if you argued with the Celts and their weights and measures, they just added extra weight.
Basically, here's a sword, we'll put this sword on top of it. That's even up.
So what we're not talking about, so let's get clear then. We're not talking about heroes who, were really nice to everyone and all that. They were just as tax greedy and just as perhaps, barbarous in terms of battling and fighting and sacking cities. But the point being is a history that certainly in the UK we're not taught, are we?
No, not really. And as I, there's been a lot of trading, because as I say, they're finding you could see Celtic gold, and some of the gold, the craftsmanship in the gold found, like say in Austria and Germany, even in like say Bosnia and stuff like this. Some of the gold work is really unbelievable, Ninja. You know, and as I say, they said we were basically barbarians, you know. But some of the gold we were producing and some of the stuff is really beautiful when you look at some of this, Ninja. It's beautiful, you know. And they're saying, yeah, these were just barbarians. It's like, move along. Nothing to see here. Move along. You know. And I was looking at, like, say, a lot of stuff. There's a lot of Celtic gold recently. I think it was not that long ago, because there's a lot of digs in Israel. That a lot of the Israelis, they're still trying to prove that Israel's the land, you know. And they're pulling up hundreds of this Celtic gold. Pulling up hundreds of it, you know. And basically they're saying, yeah, it was all through trading and stuff like that. But you know yourself, man, when people travel and that, especially when you, like say, us in Britain, if we had to go travel into the Mediterranean, I would probably like to stay there for a couple of years, do you know what I mean? And enjoy the sun and the weather and enjoy the people and, do you know what I mean, mixing with other cultures. But it was, as I was saying, it would have still been a Celtic culture, you know? And then when you start to be... What's that, nice?
Yeah, no, I'm just sitting here thinking of the word barbarian, because now here we go. Look at the spelling. Look at the phonics. Bar. Now we'll switch a vowel around from an A to an O. Ions? Ions? Mm. Really? Is there something going on here as well? Mm. What's that all about now? The barbarians were supposed to be the ones who had like no culture and were very savage. Is there a clue here in the breakdown of these words now? Are they trying to tell us something? Because you're telling me something now that doesn't fit with the standard notion of a barbarian. So is that a kind of mirror clue there, ions?
Yeah, well, when you started looking at history, the Romans never came to Britain until 44 AD. Do you know what I mean? So when me looking at that, I'm saying to myself, well, the Roman Empire would have been stretching, so you could have said Scotland would have been like the Afghanistan or something like that of the day. It would have been the place where people who were at war with Rome, with the Empire, would basically, they want to be somewhere safe, so as far away from the Empire as possible, you know. So, in my looking at it, you would have had probably a lot of people coming from Western Europe, coming to Britain to get away from the Romans. Do you know what I mean? And then that ties into a lot of the Jewish stuff as well, now it's to do with the Bryphonic speaking people. As I was saying earlier, the Celtics, the Phoenicians, the empires were about at the same time. And when you look at the Phoenicians, see people, you know what I mean, Bryphonic, phonics. And it's like Michael Tazarian would say, it's all going back to this Atlantean stuff. And you know, a lot of these proper historians out there, they're not too sure about Atlantis. It's like, we don't know if it existed or not. Do you know what I mean? When you look into it a bit, there's even Atlantean alphabet. So, do you know what I mean? The ancient Atlantean runes. So they must have existed. And there's been recent discoveries. They think that Atlantis basically was between Scotland and Norway. So we don't know about this Atlantis stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that goes back to like.
I want to ask you now. I don't want to ask you. I want to raise a point regarding Romans and Roman history and Roman times in terms of modern cartoons, comics. And movies, because now we've been a few months ago rereading the Asterix, the Asterix comics. You see, they're available online, everyone, if you want to download them and read them. Now, the reason I bring this up, because I had forgotten about it, and now you're talking about Rome, and of course Asterix is all about the Gauls, what is now France, and their little battles and shenanigans with the occupying Romans. And the point I want to raise, and this is why people really need to download these series and read them for themselves, you'll see it, It is absolutely chock full, packed to the roof with allegory and truth. It is astonishing how much truth is in these. And the guy who wrote it clearly knew everything we know and a hell of a lot more. And so if you don't just want the entertainment, and there isn't really because of these allegories, you'll see it. Just check it out. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, I grew up with these books, I grew up with the Aspects books. I loved them as a child, they were tremendously funny, especially the names. Like, the chieftain was called Vital Statistics.
Yeah. But the thing is...
Look at the name as well, then, it's Gauls. Gallic, Gaul, Gallic, that's going back to referring to the 5 Celtic nations, which was the Irish, the Scottish, the Welsh, the French, and Cornwall. Cornwall. When you look at Cornwall, they were called the Duminoi.
Wow.
And as I say, that's actually up where I live. If you had to get a map of Britain when the Romans were trying to basically do their stuff, the Antonine Wall, that was the land of the Duminoi as well. So you've got the Duminoi up in Scotland, and you've got them right in the very, very bottom of England. I
saw that. You shared a link with me earlier. I did see that, yeah. So that's two different groupings, north and south, far southwest.
Yeah. But during all this time, then, you've also got a lot of stuff coming. You've got the Egyptians. Well, this is 800 things. That's roughly about the same time as the Egyptians were doing their stuff. Do you know what I mean? This is 800 years before Jesus. So the Egyptians would have been doing their stuff back then as well. And then you've had, like, say, a lot of it to do with the Israelites, Jacob and all of that. That was all going on as well back then, when the Celts, as I say, they had their empire back then. Do you know what I mean? Which would have been a Celtic empire, but we never hear much about this. But it makes me think, what kind of empire was it then? Because, really, with some of this, it's like, I'm with Scottish and Irish and all this kind of, nobody really, well, I know for myself, I wouldn't go just attacking anybody because they've got gold or anything. We're quite you can get aggressive people in Scotland, but it's like, you have to be pushed a little bit before people will go showing you their aggression type thing, And that's the way I was looking at it. I'm saying, well, I don't think it would have been an empire like the Romans. It would have been, the way I'm thinking of it would have been more a trading empire than an empire of rule and law. Do you know what I mean? But the Romans were wanting more rule and law, and also what came from that was taxes. Do you know what I mean? And so I don't think it would have been a nation of people getting taxed and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
I think if you have an ability, you have a skill set, you've reached a point in your social, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, you can make things, right? You're not cavemen anymore. You've reached a point. Well, obviously you're going to want to trade, aren't you? Because that's the whole point. I mean, even today it's all about trade. If I'm very good at making, bread, or somebody else is very good at making shoes. I mean, this is all we do, isn't it? Well, okay, there's money got in the way of that, but it didn't always have to be that way. So yeah, I mean, most people's instinct isn't to go on the rampage and warring. No, I don't think so. We only have to look at how we are today to see that. There's only a minority, a tiny minority, that incites war, that gets people to believe that that's a necessary thing. But that's not how your average person is going to want to...
It's usually the governments as well, because they've had a falling out with another government or somebody else.
Well, this is the point.
It's us who have to do the fighting.
Yeah, and we need to stop that, by the way. Anybody currently in the military, will you just fucking quit? Because, that's just the most retarded thing ever. If a prime minister wants to go to war with another prime minister's nation, right, send the two of them, right? Sell tickets, Wembley Stadium, right? Live by satellite, give them whatever they want, boxing gloves or swords, I don't give a shit, and let them fight it out.
I agree with you.
And you will see overnight there wouldn't be any more war, because they are cowards of the highest order. Only a coward will send somebody else's sons and daughters to fight. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I was saying about the Bryphonic speaking people of Britain. They would have been speaking Welsh. Because when I looked into about that as well, and then the Pictish people, nobody really knows who the Picts were, really. There's speculation that they were maybe Egyptians, or, do you know what I mean? But they spoke basically a Colbran, they spoke a Welsh, a form of Welsh language. So you could say the ancient Bryphonic languages was a kind of Welsh Gaelic, that's the only way I could have described a Welsh Gaelic. But you see a lot of similarities in today's Welsh, but I don't think it's quite the same, you know. But that's what I found really interesting. The names of places in Britain, a lot of them go back. They don't, you know, like Verasti, Lothian, that goes back to 915 AD. But the name goes back to King Arthur. Like I was saying, Lothian, Lothian, that's to do with King Arthur's. It was related to King Arthur through Gawain the youngest knight, and basically Lothian. But they say it didn't exist. All the King Arthur stories, they didn't exist. Move along here type thing. But there's a lot of place names, like say, as I was saying, in Britain and in Scotland, do you know, to do with Camelot, like Camel Tree, like I was saying with West Calder. The Romans used to call it Camel Tree, and Camel Tree, and it's in the region of Lothian, Lot. His name would have been Lot. So it's making me think Camel Tree, Camelot. Do you know? But a lot of people say, no, that's in Wales. It's in Wales. But Scotland was Welsh. You know? Yeah,
somebody's throwing us off the scent, aren't they? Because this is it. I mean, place names in Britain are always a clue. I know this myself from growing up in London, and you know, you only need to look at the street names of the old city and the very old areas around. And there's clues everywhere. Even if some part of that has long since gone, you know, perhaps something during the Blitz or whatever, the place names will still tell you a clue to its past. So absolutely, they are the clues to look for. Definitely, it's different in younger countries, obviously. I mean, in America, I mean, that's not going to be the case necessarily. It might be a lot harder, but then again, they don't have the history on that land anyway. So we do need to go back to these roots.
There is a few strange places in America as well. Like I found one out just recently. I think it's Tres Chines. It's actually Hebrew for Tree of Life. So there's a place in America with a Hebrew name named after the Tree of Life.
But
have
then
to get
again,
the full name for these, but there's no problem for that.
A lot of the towns, cities, and region names are based in the European and British places anyway, aren't they?
Yeah. New York.
I mean, they're all repeated, aren't they?
You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Just realised that. So, okay. But yeah, definitely small local place names, little villages, little lanes and streets and alleyways. They've all got lots and lots of history and lots of clues. So for sure, I think you're onto something there, Paul, because you're looking at... There's a lot of history, as I was saying, man.
A lot of history we're not getting really... It's like... When I started to look into the Hebrew connections, especially to do with Scotland and Ireland, you start to look into that. There was a man called Raymond Capt, who was a professor. He was a professor. He was in America. He was a professor of ancient antiquities. You know, the man was no fool, and he put his careers a lot on the line and says, the Scottish and the Irish and that are the two missing tribes of Israel. So I decided to look into that, and when they ended up in Israel, what happened was you had 10 tribes to the north of the country, and other 2 tribes, the 2 main tribes, stayed in the south of the country. But through what happened, like say with Jeremiah took them back to Israel after the Babylonians came and sacked the place, and from Egypt. They say that they left, and basically they came to Britain. That was when they left. But when you start to look into that through Scota, Scotland, she was one of the princesses. And the name's still the same in Egypt. The Egyptians still call the place where they left, they call it the Palace of the Jew's Daughter. And it's still called that to this. It's in ruins. It's an old building. But I looked into that, and once again it goes back to kind of funny Masons, because it was a man called Sir Petrie. I can't mind his first name, but he wrote stuff about the Petrie stones, quite famous Masonic stuff. and it was actually him who went to do the archaeological digs in that region, you know. And when you start to look at that, as I was saying, it's got a lot of Milesian to do with the Milesian kings, and they would have been from Barcelona, the Barcelona Basque regions. They were a fierce fighting people. And I was speaking to a friend today, and he was saying, yeah, you need to check this out. It was an Arthur movie, some Arthur, a modern day Arthur movie. He was saying Ray Winston's in it and a few other actors. I can't mind their names. And he was saying, yeah, it speaks about King Arthur being of the Milesian dynasty. And
now, I've actually got that video, DVD box in my hand as we speak, because it's one of those, we've started watching them, didn't finish, and I want to watch it again from the beginning. Now, yes, this is the one with Ray Winston. It's called King Arthur, and it's Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yes.
The one, this text is so small, I need my magnifying glass to tell you who's in it. So we've got Clive Owen, Keira Knightley, Ewan Grufford, and Ray Winston, and so on. So that's definitely, yeah, okay. Yeah, and so you're saying that in this movie they're saying that who was from Milesia?
King Arthur. I think in the movie they're saying King Arthur was he was of the Milesian dynasty.
Of that dynasty, right? You are, okay.
I think basically.
And wasn't it the case, because you showed me? I googled something and I came across the mention of Milesians yesterday because of our chat, and it says that became the Irish people.
Yeah, well, that would have been through Fergus the Great. It was Fergus the Great. He brought the Stony. They say he brought the Stony Spoon to Scotland, and he was an Irish king, you know. And his bloodline would have been through. Well, wait a minute. That would have been 2 seconds. That would have been through Heber and Herman, and they would have been children of this Jewish princess named Scota, who married a Milesian prince named Neil. And basically what happened was they ended up leaving and coming to Ireland. That's how they ended up in New Range and stuff like that. And the stone basically, it coronated the Irish kings, and then it went from Ireland to the west of Scotland, which was known as Dalriata. And because I was saying, there was a lot of tribal stuff back then. It would have been a lot of the Picts, but what happened was when the Dalriatians landed, there was a lot of warring with the Picts and stuff. But it ended up, they became like allies type thing, you know. And when you start to look into it, they say that the Picts just assimilated. They just assimilated with the rest of the peoples, but they still spoke, as I say, they spoke a form of kind of Gaelic Welsh. It was still using the ancient Colbran alphabet, which does come from Wales.
Yeah, we have a question in the Skype room, Paul. The answer from me, Jane, is no. Paul, have you looked into Gavin Menzies' information? Is the question.
No, I have not.
Okay, well, there's a link in the lights room for after the show for you to maybe check out if you're interested. So I've just asked the question because it was so yeah.
Well, that was the argument with Robert the Bruce when England came up and were basically trying to cause trouble up. He argued with the Pope, saying basically we're from an unbroken line. He said he was, but he wasn't, because he killed the original King of Scotland, who was John Balliol. You know what I mean? So he was from no bloodline. But he says, yeah, we're from the unbroken line of kings, which goes back to Jacob because of the stony destiny. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people, that's how I go into looking at the Hebrew connections to do with Britain. And then you start to looking at the harp and the lion, well, they would have been they would have been the highest tribes. That would have been the 2 top tribes of Israel, you could say. Of the 12 tribes would have been the lion and the harp. The harp would have been of King David, because King David was blessed with music, and the lion, obviously, the warrior. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you look into that, especially to do with Scotland and Britain. Do you know yourself, Nance, the Scottish lion rampant, that's the Scottish flag. And then you have down in England, you've got the 3 lions. And as far as I'm concerned, that's referring back to this Hebrew connection.
And do you suppose then that, is there a connection, I guess, between the harp Dave's line, the Celtic harp.
Yeah, well, you start to look into it, and as I was saying there, this Heber and Hebron, what's his name? Heber and Herman, basically, they went to Ireland, and they says they ended up because what they did is they would marry, they would say, obviously, we're from a bloodline for such and such, and they would marry the Irish. Do you know what I mean? And they basically just assimilated with the Irish, and that's how that went on. But it was, there's a hell of a lot of stuff I'm still researching to do with this now. And you get wee bits here and wee bits there, and it's kind of frustrating, But there is stuff out there, but we're not really getting a chance to really get a look at some of the really, really old books, what I think could be speaking about it, because they're kept in libraries, and yourself, man, you go into some of these places, and you have to wear white gloves when you're turning these. They're very fragile and all, Instead of letting somebody go in and just photograph them, they're not even doing that. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of really annoying, because when you look at that for Ireland, that was all to do with the Leofoil. In Ireland, the Leofoil, well, that was basically the Stone of Destiny. Do you know what I mean? That's what the Irish called it, the Leofoil. And ended up it went to Iona. That would have been the first Caledonian kings and all of that. I mean, you look, and then we've got that
Ion again.
Yeah, when you look at the island Iona Ninja, every king from Norway, Scotland, because yourself, Britain back then would have been full of kings. You would have had a king from near enough every district. Do you know what I mean? And basically, they say the top kings were only buried in Iona, and they've got kings from Norway, Denmark. Well, I don't know so much Denmark, but Denmark would have been under the Vikings, so probably.
Yeah.
So, so there's a lot of the ancient kings buried there. And when we talk about King Arthur, they say King Arthur was buried alongside the great noble kings of the day. So I'm presuming that he was buried in Iona, but...
Oh, well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? I wonder if we can find out more about that.
This is when Rome creeps in. This is when Rome starts to sneak in. Do you know? Because we were the barbarians and Druid. Because when you start to look at that, then the Druids of the day, that was roughly a 25-year apprenticeship. Because we never had books. It was always passed down through Sipper. You'd pass it down, and you'd take on an apprentice. And a bard, the bardic traditions, and the bards would basically, he would go from town to town, like festivals and stuff, and he would teach people the history, the old days.
Now, I must tell you.
Yeah.
I must tell you something.
Yeah.
My grandfather, both my grandparents on my mother's side are Irish. I think I told you that. And my grandfather was from Galway in the west of Ireland. But his family name is a name that I've since learned is the name of the original and ancient bards, writers, and whatnots of the kings of Ireland. And he's of the Higgins clan.
That's interesting. You should take a look at that. That's your heritage,
Yeah. But isn't it interesting that my grandfather's line is from the original bards to the kings of Ireland, the scribes and the poets and the writers who recorded the history. It would have been by the king's side and responsible for making sure that all the important things were recorded and shared and so on. And here we are doing that very thing today and every day, recording important things, sharing important things. Oh, what's that called? Truth. That's right. Yeah.
Look at St. Patrick. They say St. Patrick chased the snakes out of Ireland, and I've had a few Irish friends saying actually he brought the snakes to Ireland because it says like in Tara. It says in Tara basically that St. Patrick burnt the books. We burnt the books, but when you look at Celtic history, we never had books. So what was he burning? He was burning people. Do you know what I mean? And then when you look at, especially in my family, to do with like the McAlpines are coming into Scotland with this Stone of Destiny, and they're saying, blah blah blah, this is a Hebrew thing. But they also have the force of the church behind them, so they're coming in and try to spread this Christianity thing over Scotland. Do you know what I mean? And kind of get rid of the pagan druidic was, they said, was pagan druidic. Well, I'm more saying it was probably more Kabbalistic, looking at it, more to the true teachings, probably what Abraham was talking about back in the day when he was, do you know what I mean, before it ended up becoming religions, and do you know what I mean, before it became the religions, the original teachings were mysticism. So I'm basically saying and that's why the Jewish peeps probably, when they came to Ireland, they probably would have got a good response, because they would have said, yeah, that's a lot similar to our stuff. And when you start to look at that, and then, you know, even the Jews admit, yeah, the two top tribes of Israel are missing. And I'm saying to myself, are you sure that they're just pissed off for using lefties?
Yeah. Well, it's no different to any other family. Sometimes families split up and somebody leaves home, you know, so I guess it could have been.
Yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it, like.
Now, I'll tell you something else, Paul. We've been watching for the allegories, and it's very entertaining as well, but we've been watching for the allegories and some hidden clues, the BBC TV series called Merlin. And one of the scenes is that there's truth in it everywhere, if you want to look. It's very much like the, Clue Fest. But one of the things that was curious that I noticed in this series was, anyway, Arthur, the young Arthur was in battle. I can't remember now who was fighting. It was a while ago. We saw this now. But point being, his side, his knights were holding a flag with the papal triple crown on it. And I was like, wow, look at that. There's one for you. Look at that. Now, are we to assume that they're trying to tell us a little bit of the truth there? That I don't know,
because when you look into it a lot, but when you get to, like, say, there's a lot of stories about James the Lesser, and that would have been Jesus' brother type thing coming to Scotland, and they say that he was trying to start a religion, but it wasn't really a religion, it was a spiritual thing. He was trying to say, no, it's not about religion or whatnot, but we don't really know. So we've got this man, James the Lesser, coming to Scotland, and basically hiding out type thing in Scotland. So when you start to look, when the Roman occupation and stuff for King Arthur came here basically to, the way I look at it, as I said earlier, and then there was probably a lot of enemies of Rome living in Britain. So basically they were at war. So King Arthur, I would have said, would have been working for Rome. So when Rome's left, there would have been a power vacuum in Britain, and that's when he stepped in. But I'm not quite really sure.
So there is some truth in the clue that they gave, that he was on the side of Rome and the papal side.
Yeah, he worked for
because
Rome.
they were slaughtering in this TV series. His father, Arthur's father, was slaughtering the. You've just said it, and it's gone out of my head. The Druids. They were the enemy, and anybody that was practicing magic. But the Druids, that was really who he was slaughtering. And so, of course. Yeah, all right. Because they were bringing Christianity in, weren't they?
Well, it's very interesting, because then you've got Constantine, because they couldn't get rid of all the Druids, and there were still bits of Druids left. And Constantine, he, after Nicaea in 325, he wanted a title. He says, no, I'm Caesar, I want a title, no, I'm Pope. And he says, actually, I'll take what the Druids called me, which was Pontifex Maximus. So that's how the Pontiff was actually a Druid name. The Druids called him that, you know, and that's why the Pope's still called the Pope to this day. And that's nothing to do with Christianity. That's because Constantine wanted a title, so he says, I'll take what the Druids called me, and that was, you know, Pontifex Maximus.
So do we know what the Druids thought what they felt that meant?
To be honest, I don't really know, because when you look at the history of the Druids, there's not a hell of a lot.
No.
If there's been any people who's been really massacred really bad, it's been...
Well, this is definitely, when you watch that BBC Merlin series, it's pretty overplayed. You know, this is definitely the message that's what's happening in the series, and so we can assume, you know, they're trying to tell us. They're always trying to tell us something. You know, all entertainment, whether it's movie or TV, is all packed full of clues, truths, hints, tips, and you name it. And if you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, and a little bit of an open mind, and you know, you will get the clues and the confirmations often. So that's one of the reasons that we do this, watching of these things. It doesn't matter how old or how new the things are either. It's all there, isn't it, all the time?
When you look at Arthur's story with Merlin was a druid. So here's a druid teaching Arthur. So Arthur would have been probably sympathetic towards the druids. So when you start to look at what happened after the Romans left, you've got a large Saxon invasion into Britain. Do you know what I mean? And I think with that's when Arthur, because there's a lot of, how could I put it, saying that Arthur he united everybody in Britain, so he would have been, or the Brythonic peoples, he would have been the first king of Britain, of the Brythonic lands, which is really interesting. He united the tribes type thing against a common enemy, you could say, which was Horden Saxons. But when you start to look at that as well, that would have been Romans' gameplay when they left, because the Roman Empire, they talk about being the greatest empire and blah blah blah, but it ended up in tatters kind of quick.
Yeah, exactly what we want to happen to the so-called powers that were now. Well, it actually hasn't it? Has, I think. Yeah. Yeah, it's always bringing us right back to where we are, isn't it, all this? Because it just shows you that things are changing constantly. Even if we believe the history that we're given, and we can't, but even if you did, one of the things you can see is that it's constantly changing. Powers come and powers go.
Yeah. Well, look at the allegories with the Knights Templar knights. They actually adored King Arthur. They seen it as chivalric and stuff like that. So that's how a lot of their stuff came about. Came with them being we're so pious and religious warriors and all this carry on. But a lot of them, they looked at the Arthur tales, which is basically a way to live type thing. They were looking at it like that, as chivalric and stuff like that. And then when you start to look at how the Templars, when they went away to the Holy Land and came back, that's when they brought a lot of funny magic back. But the way I was thinking that, there's probably a lot of them who would have known the old histories, because that was way back then, and they would have known the old histories, which have been kept from us. So they would have been familiar with a lot of this Hebrew stuff, do you know? And when you start to look at how the lion ended up in Scotland, or like the lion rampant, that would have been William I. He was the first to he brought that back from the Crusades, you know, and the 12 noble knights of Scotland. And that's why, like say in Bannockburn, you had the Knights Templar came and fought against the English when they came up. It was because of the First Crusade, because the English never fought in it, but they said they were at war with Scotland, and the whole of Europe considered them cowards. Do you know? Because Scotland sent their best knights to go and fight in the Holy Land and that. And when you start to look at that, that's Christendom once again, and because all the great knights of France were basically running about killing each other and stealing each other's castles. And the Pope at the time said, this is no good, like, we need to unite them against a common enemy, so let's go and kill some poor Muslim people and we'll steal their land. Do you know what I mean? And we're still feeling the ramifications of that today.
Well, indeed. I mean, we only have to look at recent events and which direction it's taken the so-called powers and where they've decided they need to be in this world while they're stealing. And and God knows what else they're doing. So, yeah. What is it about? This is, look, people really, come on. Any divide and conquer tactic, we need to stop now. Not only practicing anything that will divide and conquer us from each other, but we need to stop promoting it as a good idea. So if you're listening to this information, if you understand that you're not the legal name, you need to also question the other areas of your life and ask yourself, well, what is controlling me in this life? What is stopping me from doing the things that I would like to do? And when you come back down to it, it's government, religion, and how they, massage your mind for you as you're growing up, and all these things. Well, Kate wrote it perfectly when she wrote "Behold a White Canvas," about all those things that are painted on your canvas as a child, probably before you're even born. which religion you are, which family name you have, and all this sort of thing. And you know what your family line is. Say, for example, you come from a long line of military generals and you're expected to go into the military, all that kind of stuff. I mean, we need to start asking ourselves, who am I? Okay, I'm not that name, all right, but who am I? And what am I doing?
Family joiners.
Yeah.
And I'm not a joiner. Well, I was a joiner, but I wasn't a very good one. Do you know what I mean? I never really liked basically working outside in the cold weather every day. I hated it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the question to ask yourself. Who am I? Not what have I been told I am. Not what religion have I been told I am. Who am I? And if you can't maybe answer that question while you're going through the day-to-day motions, stop. Make some changes. Don't go to church. Don't read that, religious text. Just start finding something else to. I don't know. I mean, see, these things, I've not been indoctrinated into a religion too deeply. I was supposedly a Christian, but, it was very much on the surface. And I've never really been interested in any of it. I just don't really care about any religion. I just want to know, who are you, Do I like you? Do I not like you? I don't want to talk about that shit. So if we're searching for truth, if that seems to be our mission, then we need to find the truth about who we are, probably first. Certainly after the name fraud, then okay, what else is there? What's stopping me from not understanding who I really am? Because when all of us can walk away from the programs, and they are all programs, it's like a little disc been inserted into your, little hard drive, and it's like, click religion program number 1, whatever, and we need to maybe, reboot the whole system and start again with what we want to put inside. Slight deviation there from where we were, but
because it gets meat sticky, doesn't it?
Well, indeed, this is it. It's one of the biggest programs at all running. So, I mean, you've got the biggest programs. Number 1 is the name. Number 2, who knows? Okay, it doesn't matter which way. But number 2 is probably the nationality. Number 3 is probably religion. It might be the other way around. But they're the big ones. Name, nationality, religion.
No, I agree with you. They're keeping you polarised. Yeah,
always. This is the word, polarised. I hate the French. I hate the English. I mean, please.
No,
how many people do you know that hate the Japanese because of the Second World War, that their grandfather fought in Japan and was put in one of those do you know what I mean? I mean, this is...
That's war. Yeah. That was war going on. People do funny things in war,
Exactly. And the thing is, did it happen to you? Kate says this so many times. Did it happen to you? So what we're dealing with is emotion then. Attached to an event that you didn't witness. You weren't there. You weren't even born. Stop now, please. It's okay to look at that too, that something had an impact. It's an emotional scar, a physical. It's not a physical event in your life. It's an emotional family scar. These are the imprints, aren't they? And
you start to look at that too. Now it's just the war thing. That's like the history's only written by the victors, so you're never getting that. You could say a truly open how it started and why it started and blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think it was Eisenhower who said that. You know what I mean? The history is only written by the victors, which is an interesting statement to say.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, that's obvious, isn't it? Because the rest of them are either dead, imprisoned, or enslaved in some way where they're no power left. So indeed, yeah.
The thing that shocked me was like when I was studying history years ago, when I think it was 38, 37. Hitler was in the Times magazine. They voted him Man of the Year. Do you know what I mean? It was like, Hitler's a great guy, Man of the Year and stuff like this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Ironic.
Well, the thing is, this is it. I mean, you've got look at Time magazine. Probably had some of the US presidents on their front cover, don't you think? Oh wow, what a great guy. Yeah, they're all a bunch of cunts, but yeah, okay. Some people thought they were cool at the time.
Exactly.
Some
look
people
at Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, he had a massive coke habit.
I don't care. Let him have it. Let him have it. Give him some more. Let him blow it. his brain right out. I don't care. But what we want is to sort of, just ignore the bastards, really, because they're nothing to do with us. Yeah. They're all delusional. They're all completely insane. And anybody that votes in any system in any country is also delusional and insane. And we really need to just stop paying attention. That's as simple as it is for me. Don't even go there.
It's bullshit, and then when you look at it, it's like, no matter who you vote for, you're going to get the government. So
exactly. And I want to go back a little bit now. Here we are, because here's the word king. Now, I wrote something a while ago, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I don't remember when now, that if you take away the G from the word king, what you have is kin, which is family, relative, something like that, isn't it? So what we have is this G that turns our family into our controller and later into our enslaver. And this is going back, you'll know, a long, long way. When did kingship, called king, begin? I don't know, but it seems to me it was a hell of a long way back. Who put that G onto kin? Because they were tribes. They were collections of people who were living together, small groups.
Yeah.
And then
you look at that as well, there wouldn't have been a king, you would have had a tribal elder.
An elder, exactly, or a leader of some kind. But when did they hex the kin with this G and make him king? And as soon as you have kings, you have oppression, I feel. You have people starting to say, oh yes, but we really must go to war to protect ourselves, and all these sorts of decisions are made by kings.
I would see that would have been probably the Hebrews. That would have been an Israel thing when you look at that. King David, King Solomon. Do you know what I mean? And back once again, that's a religious psychosis, Julianitis.
Yeah, it's definitely something that just struck me. Why is a king somebody that we really don't want anymore? Like, royalty, really? Please. When did that change? I was thinking about that. When did our kin become our enemy? When he became our king. Yeah.
Well, that's a great analogy. That is a great analogy for that, nice. Because you're spot on, because there was a king, and as soon as you put the G in it, king, crown, and then it goes kind of pear-shaped from then on, because it's like, I'm better than you type thing,
Yeah, there's just, it becomes out of balance then. It becomes, it's all very well Arthur and the Round Table, and we can pretend he was a good guy, but he was a king and he was a cunt. Because as long as you're a king, and I'm using that word because I'm enjoying it today, as long as you're a king, you're making decisions that you've got no right to make. But you think you have the right to make because you're a king. There's something wrong. Yeah, there's something wrong there. Well, their own version of mind control for themselves, of course. How you raise a prince or a princess fit for the throne is to indoctrinate them up to the ultimate degree of I'm important, and I can do this stuff, and it's very important that I do this stuff, because without me, it's all going to go wrong, So again, how did we lose kinship and have kingdom?
Stockholm syndrome, that's what I think, it's personally Stockholm syndrome. Especially in Britain. You'll know that yourself, Ninja, these patriotic people loving the royal family. I've never seen the sense in that, I've never been a great lover of the royal family,
Yeah. Well, I wasn't a royalist. I wouldn't say I was one of those. I didn't collect spoons and tea towels with people's faces on them called prince or princess or king or queen, but I wasn't anti the royals. I was indoctrinated. I can tell you, I was not anti the royals, and because I always liked history, I kind of felt that that was something that was very fascinating to me as a child. I was fascinated with Tudors, with Anne Boleyn particularly, and so I wasn't anti that. I hadn't considered it to be a good or a bad thing. I was just interested in it. But I wasn't a fan of the royals. I wasn't one of those flag wavers. So I was kind of in the middle on that. But now, oh my goodness, yeah.
Yes, when you look at the Stuart bloodline in that Scotland, the King James wasn't a very nice man, but in fact he was a scumbag. Do you know what I mean? And he wrote the King James Bible, and well, he never wrote it. He had basically Francis Bacon, Robert Flood, and John Dee. He basically got the three kind of, I think it was the Protestants, the Anglicans, and somebody else. He got the three of them together and says, write me a book. If you don't write me a book, they're going to write me a book. And he says to basically Robert Dee in that, each one of you go with one of these, go with the, like say, the Protestants or the three main faiths that were in England at the time, and he says basically, you go and write me a book. So when I kind of look at it, it wasn't really them, it was like say Robert Flood. As I say, he's a pure magician. It was Robert Flood, Francis Bacon, and John Dee who wrote basically the modern day King James Bible. And look at John Dee. John Dee was a necromancer.
I was just going to say something to you about him. I read that he was the spy master, the original code builder and all that kind of stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, that's true. Now they say he was a genius. He was.
I'm sure he was. I mean, there's genius in all of it, isn't there?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Everybody's got their own slice of genius. Somebody can pick a guitar up and just play. That's genius. Somebody can write beautiful poetry. That's genius. Do you know what I mean? And so, yeah, when John Dee, for those who are not familiar, John Dee was an advisor to Queen Elizabeth I, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and was into codes and spy networks. And I suppose he's the original MI. What is it? Yeah, he was MI5. You could.
Yeah. So James Bond would have worked for him if he was around at that time.
You look at James Bond. James Bond's a psychopath.
There's another clue. Huh?
You look at James Bond. He's a psychopath. Everybody watches it, and it's like, oh, that's great. He goes about shooting people and banging birds. The guy's nuts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and do you know what? Here's the clue with Bond regarding the name. What does he say when he's asked his name? He doesn't say I am. He says the name.
Yeah, Bond.
Is.
James Bond.
He never says I am James Bond. Not ever. He just says the name is. So there's another clue. He's not claiming the name. He's using the name.
Yeah.
So there you go. For all those Bond fans out there, he's only using the name.
You look at the man who wrote them, Fleming. He was a funny Mason.
Was he?
Yeah, he's another funny Mason. Yeah, he's everywhere. Then I mean, funny handshake divisions everywhere.
Oh yeah, Jeff reminding me, I did read that, Jeff, thanks for that, that John Dee's number that he used in his correspondence, presumably to Elizabeth and others, was 007. So then, obviously, Fleming knew all of that and has used that for James Bond's number. So again, clues, everybody, all your favourite stuff, all your favourite movies, all your favourite TV stuff, books, everything, look at it with new eyes, because it's all there. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't care about the Smurfs. A lot of people don't realise that the Smurfs, the cartoon, was written by a mad Kabbalist, like a really mad Kabbalist. And the name Azrael, he had a cat called Azrael, and Azrael's death. He's deaf. When you die, the Jews would say that basically that's the angel who comes to get you, would be Azrael. And when you look at Gargamel, the whole story to do with Smurfette's kind of strange. He made Smurfette so he could capture the Smurfs because they're a funny colour of blue, because he's making gold. Which is interesting. It's alchemy. There's a bit of alchemy and craziness and Kabbalisticness going on in the Smurf. Now,
I'm showing my age, although it's no secret, everyone knows I'm 50. But that's hearsay anyway, apparently I'm 50. But I used to watch the Smurfs when I was a kid. And in Holland, in the Netherlands, the Smurfs are very popular, which was very strange when I went there. I thought, oh, what? They actually still quite like them. Now, here's the thing. You mentioned Azrael being one of the Smurfs, and I'd forgotten that. But I've been recently reading a Terry Pratchett novel, and on the Discworld, on Terry Pratchett's Discworld series, all of them, the sky, the one I've just read is the Reaper Man, and the sky is called Azrael. The sky. Yeah, it's called Azrael. So very interesting, isn't it?
I read one of his books. It was Mort. I read Mort years ago. That was a good book. It was the Grim Reaper's Apprentice.
My son's reading that at the moment. I've not read it. I'm waiting for him to finish. I'm a big fan of Terry Pratchett books. I started reading them in the late 80s, and oh my God, the laughs. It's ridiculous how funny they are. But now, here again, I read, as I say, Reaper Man, after I hadn't read a Terry Pratchett book for donkey's years, and I read Reaper Man, which I'd never read before. And I was blown away by the truth leaping off of every paragraph. That guy he knows as well. Another one he knows. Bindi's put me a little bit more up to speed. Apparently, Terry Pratchett has actually been interviewed and admitted that he is from some kind of Masonic connections in the family or something like that. I might be misquoting there, but something like that. And it's apparent that this man is very well informed, and he's very clever how he expresses these truths, and the name thing and the whole lot is all in there. So anybody who likes a bloody good laugh with the English humour, go for Terry Pratchett, and the truth will hit you in the face every 5 minutes.
Same way Tolkien, and I found the most intriguing bit about J.R. Tolkien was Mount Moriah. And when anybody out there who knows their Bible, Mount Moriah, that would be after the flood. I think before the flood happened, they put a stone and they wrapped it in copper, so when the water basically subsided, they would know. They said it was the center of the earth, you know. And when you look at Tolkien, Mount Moriah, it's referring to the same thing. And who stays in Mount Moriah? The man with the big eye.
Now, do you remember, Paul, in the old days in England, I don't know if it was the same in Scotland, it might have been different, but in England, the old police vans, you know, the wagon, what they picked you up and put you in to take you away in, if there was more than one of you, was called a Black Maria.
Yeah, it was black. You're so spot on.
You remember that?
Yeah. My dad told me about them in Glasgow. You used to get them driving about in Glasgow, basically cops, and they would basically be looking for gangs of youth because of the bad gang culture in Glasgow, and they would just jump out of the van and give you a beating.
Oh, okay.
That's how they did things in Glasgow back in the 60s.
But why would they call a police collection vehicle, if you like, why would they call that a Mariah? And why would it be black?
Interesting. That's interesting, like that. Yeah.
I don't know, isn't it funny, all these things? Somebody perhaps knows, somebody will come back and tell us. Yeah, you know, we do have some police who listen, and we may not know who you are just yet, but we're listening. We know everyone's listening. Hello, everyone who's listening. If you know something, and we've covered it on any of the shows, and we're just not quite sure, or you want to confirm for us, please let us know. You know where we are. You know how to reach us. Let us know. It just puts the dots on the I's and the crosses on the T's, and gives people the confirmation, and come forward. Let us know what it is we were wondering about.
Nothing else. It's like when we were singing today, I was taking a look at the Votadini tribe. You know, where they're based in Scotland and that, and the Votadini, they would have been the Gododin, known as the Gododin. And when I looked into that, and there's a story. Do you know the story of the 300 Spartans? Well, there's an exact same story to do with the Gododin.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
They're going to fight a battle, and the king's saying basically, for a whole year you'll live like me, and then you'll all go and die basically. And I think 2 of them came back from this famous battle, which was in the Balkans. Well, I find very interesting.
So he gave them. Did you just let me clarify what I think you just said? The king says to these 300 warriors, "You can live for a year like me, and then I'm going to send you off to die."
Basically.
Oh, nice.
That was it. You know, they did it. Foolishly they did it.
But do you know what? Hang on a minute. They got a good deal, didn't they? Because a lot of these people went and fought for their king, and they didn't get anything before, during, or after. So I suppose a year living like a king is better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, ain't it?
Exactly.
If you were going to be a fighting warrior soldier for a king, you ain't getting jack shit. You know that. Oh, spoils the war. Maybe if you lived, you might get.
That's what it comes to. It spoils the war. Robbing some other poor person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Some slaves to sell in the market, and put some money aside for your old age. You won't get in an old age, but hey, you can hope. Oh, what a way to live. I mean, we're so lucky these days, aren't we?
Yeah, when you look at what's happening in places like Africa and that, a lot of people in the world should realise that they really are blessed, Well, blessed compared to, you know what I mean, some, when you look at some of these kings and queens and that, but even at that, I wouldn't want all that money. What would you want all that money for? You know what I mean? It's just greed.
Yeah. The reality is, I suppose, that the royals are more enslaved than we are. If we really think about it, they're more enslaved than we are, because they've got a very, very rigid and tight protocol. They can't deviate very much from it. Their whole life they've been groomed and coached to fulfill one function, and, not getting an awful lot of choice in life, are they? So you've got to feel sorry for them, really. In fact, all you royals out there, you know what? I feel so sorry for you. I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Stop being a royal. Why don't you just stop doing it? Just say, I'm not the name, and fuck off somewhere and go and have a nice time. No, you could do that.
You've got plenty of castles. Just keep one of your castles and go and live caddy in your castle for the rest of your days. What do you need all these castles for? Do you know what I mean?
Because they're no more the name than we are.
No.
Or did they owe their soul to somebody?
Well, there's a lot of strange stuff to do with it.
Ask for a new contract. Maybe they can renegotiate the term.
I've heard stuff that the royal family have got certain prayers that nobody really knows what they are, and they say them at Mass basically every Sunday, and nobody knows what these prayers are, but they've got special prayers basically for Mass every Sunday, which nobody else in the world even knows what these prayers are, because it's just theirs. So that, I find that very interesting. And what are these prayers? Who they pray on a Sunday? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sorry, I was reaching for my unmute button there. Yeah. I don't care really, Paul. Do you know what I mean? I don't care. That's probably one of the ones I'm not particularly interested in the answer to, but somebody will be. But hey, look, I'll tell you what. Why don't we take a little song break? And according to my clock, it's 20 past the first hour, and we could take a little pause, and then we've got somebody with their hand up, so we can open the mics up after we come back. How's that for you, Paul?
Yeah, that's cool with me, Ned.
Okay, what I'm going to do is pick wow, Kate's got some songs on here that I haven't actually heard yet, and one of them is 9 minutes, 49 seconds long. Wow. We might even get a wee break. What do you reckon?
A wee tea break?
Play.
Get the kettle on.
One's called, put the kettle on. This one's called I'd Like to Stay. So everybody enjoy.
In the morning light you find me with my head in my hands and a heavy heart. Don't wait around, 'cause you'll only make it harder. And on you'll only close the door. So hard to show you, but the blind man sees more, 'cause he sees with his heart. And if there was one thing I could tell you, it's how much I've loved you from the start. Loving you so easy. is so easy to bleed. Tears me apart 'cause I can't feel a thing. At night when I wake up without you beside me, it's just me and the stars and the wish they might bring. I'd like to stay just a little bit longer, 'cause loving you is so in the morning light you find me with my head in my hands and a heavy heart. Don't wait around 'cause you'll only make it harder. And knowing you'll only close the door. It's so easy to bleed.
Okay, we're back. I guess that wasn't 9 minutes long. But I was here anyway. While we're taking a break and a pause and a whatnot, I'm going to do the shout out for the station. So with much love, gratitude and best wishes to Paul Giovanni for basically having the idea to start his own station and call it Critical Mass Radio. And here we are, absolutely at Critical Mass. I must imagine we really are on by now. With what the truth that we're sharing on this platform is astonishing, and we've busted it all wide open. So thanks, Paul, for everything you've done, for providing this platform for Kate to use for this show and for the rest of us to use to get our voices heard, 7 nights a week. And if anybody would like to help support the station, please visit criticalmassradio.co.uk and you'll find a donate button there. I'm also just going to scroll up and play this again.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Okay, now we're probably not going to be rolling over after the 2 hours, everybody. So by all means, call in just in case we roll over if you do want to, but I don't think we will. The call-in number is 661-467-2401, and I believe the BTR listener number tonight is 053. So just in case we do go over, but that isn't the plan. So okay, so I'm going to open up, I think that's Darren's mic, see if that's him. Hello. Hello, Darren. Can hear something. Perhaps he thinks we're away for 9 minutes. And we're back already. So, well, okay, yeah, he went for a cup of tea. Hello? Okay,
well,
maybe
eventually
not.
you'll hear and it'll be what?
Oh, okay, yeah. Perhaps he's not ready. He can put his hand up again if he wants. Okay, so anyway, where were we and where do we want to go next?
I'm not really bothered where you want to take this, Nidge. If you want to go more back into the Bryphonic stuff, or, you know what I mean, a wee bit of the history, the Celtic stuff, or whatever, Kabbalism, whatever, you know what I mean?
I'm wondering if anybody has got a question. Yeah, carry on. I'm just going to scan the Skype rooms just to see if anybody has a question or... It's very difficult, isn't it, sort of trying to keep up with 2 or 3 rooms and whether the questions and comments are really for us. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything, but use big capital letters if you want to ask us a question, uppercase, so I can see it straight away. Oh, Jeff's trying to join, but he's pressed. I don't see you on the board, Jeff. I could open your mic if you were on the board, but I don't see you there, friend, so can't help you. Yeah. Oh, there he is. Oh, I see him. Okay, let me open his mic. Hey, Jeff.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you, Jeff.
Brilliant. Good talking with you guys.
How are you?
I'm very good. I'm enjoying the show. Obviously, I'm into the Roman thing as well. Know thy enemy, perhaps. Yeah. You know, and I think it's good to go over these things and look into it. I don't think they ever left Britain. They learned to operate behind the scenes, is my opinion.
Yeah, well, you know, either.
They didn't just run off back to Rome or whatever. I think they just it was more an infiltration thing, you know? What do you think, Nidge? You're British.
Well, I can't argue with that. It's most likely, isn't it? I mean, come on, you know. Yeah, I don't suppose that they just disappeared. Even the soldiers would have married and stayed and everything, wouldn't they? A lot of them.
Yeah, well, look at
what that Arthur film's doing. Sorry, Paul.
No, you're all right. Well, look at what happened with James Sunderland. I spoke a little bit about him a while back, and he was basically the head of the Roman army. And he came and stayed in Scotland when Elizabeth I was still Queen of England. And she was basically at war with you could say the Papal See. She was at war with them because of Protestantism. And yet the head of basically the Holy Roman Army came to Scotland and was living in Scotland, quite the thing. And he started Freemasonry, which is another strange one. And he was quite an influential man in Scotland to an extent, because of land and money, and you know, he was a Templar. One of his family, you would say, were one of the originals who went in the First Crusade, and he was Mary Queen of Scots. That was her cousin, and you know what happened to Mary? So it would have been James the First cousin as well. Well, James the First's uncle, and James the First started basically. You know what I mean? He wrote the Bible, well, the King James version. And
I get it. That's King James. Right.
Yeah, so you've still got a papal connection to the Protestant Britain, you could say.
Well, it's like literally, like you were saying. I don't know the sort of direct history links, but like you said, they had the council, Constantine, and all that, and you eventually moved from like an empire and military into sort of pope. The Catholic thing and stuff like that, and with all the colonies they took over, where they took out, like you said, the tribal element, like the Celts, you know, say Africa as well. They're very very sort of tribal. They then become Catholic or Christian as a result. It moves over from takeover. Do you know what I mean? Into their religious doctrines, including Britain.
Well, look what happened. The best way to see what happened to us, if you could put it, what happened to the Druid people of Britain is what happened to the Latin American peoples when Vasquez and that went over. Do you know what I mean? That's basically what happened to us. It was basically conquer. Do you know what I mean? But with Britain and stuff, we were a bit more military savvy, so it would have been divide and conquer. Do you know what I mean? So with the way they've done it, they've basically just, how can I put it? They've just got people to join their gang type thing. The way I look at it, to do with, like, say, a lot of the saints who came to Britain, they were assassins. I would have called the saints the hit squad. All these saints came over and basically, do you know what I mean? They turned to people's heads, and then the people basically says, use the rest, the pagans, yous are all pagans, so we've just got to kill yous. Do you know what I mean? And that's what basically happened in Britain. It was that old Hegelian dialectic, the divide and conquer, you know, and it worked. And it's still working to this day in certain parts of Scotland to do with the Catholic religious stuff. And I'm telling people, you know, the Queen wears black when she meets the Pope. It's because of the Jesuit order. That's as far as I'm concerned, like, because the Pope is, well, the Queen is a member of the Jesuit order. And a lot of people would say, oh, I would disagree with you with that, but there's no evidence for it, but only in the wearing the black. Just like the Jesuits wear black.
It's interesting with the places like you got like the London district, the business district, and the Vatican, and they operate on the same uniqueness as a country, passports. You can get away with murder in these places, and Wall Street, for example, as far as I know, that hasn't got any sort of special passports or district that or there's only, like, say, Londinium and Rome that operate within that. So that's where I see my connection, is in London. And well done the Iceni tribe for setting them back 100 years by burning it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's the last big fight against the empire as such, in terms of where they got their long-term plan.
That was another reason why the Saxon hordes, as far as I'm concerned, came to Britain. They were kind of getting pointed to Britain by the Romans. That's my opinion, like. Because look what happened to the Angles, who were the Iceni tribe. They would have been Angles. The Angles became Anglo-Saxons. The Saxons came over and they done their thing.
Oh, one more thing I want to mention while we're on about it. You've got, like, the might of the Roman Empire, the engineering and the war machine. You only have to look at America, and that possibly could be the wing of the extension of it. What I mean?
But it's like Kate says. She says,
the military.
Religion's run by Rome. You could say commerce is run by Britain, and the military wings run. As far as I'm concerned, that's what America was basically. That's what it is today. It's the military wing for Rome and England. People will say, "Oh, we'll go and look at your court system. The red, the gold trim round the flag. That's signifying royal lineage, and there's no royal lineage in America. So that's, for me, kind of saying that your court systems are still coming down to the Queen. You know what I mean? Law. It's all got to do with law when you look at the law, mate. And law is a funny thing.
You're breaking up a bit, brother. Can you hear it as well, Nins?
Well, my call completely dropped and I've reconnected, so yeah, we're having some fun and games here right now. Darren, I've opened your mic. I don't know if you're there now.
You both sound to me like Daleks,
Daleks. Hello, Darren, are you there?
Do I sound like that, or do I sound clear?
You sound all right.
Oh, awesome. Perhaps it's just my end then.
Yeah, we're Daleks to you.
Hello! Awesome. It's awesome to be awesome.
Awesome indeed, yeah. Awesome. Oh, by the way, did you know awesome? Or so me. There you go. Darren, are you with us?
I think so. Is it working?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, good. I grounded in.
Okay. How are you doing?
I wasn't too sure. I'm doing wonderful. Yeah, a beautiful day, working in the garden. Now I got rain, so I got the stop work order. Woohoo! Yeah, beautiful day. Enjoying everything that's being shared. It's nice. It's nice to traipse through time and see where it all come from, and then see the allegory of where it's led us to. How amazing in the time is we're in. I thank them all those people that had to carry the weight and the karma of everything that they had to do in the past. So I'm sure glad it wasn't me. Or maybe it was me back then. I don't know. I keep my fluffy in the past, so it's all good. So what else is up? Where's this going?
Yeah, it's a kind of quiet night tonight, Darren. Usually everybody's chiming in, and do you know what I mean? It's kind of quiet tonight.
Well, that's nice. Quiet's good. So, it gives you a nice space to chillax and communicate. And everybody hey, maybe tonight everybody will be able to finish the sentence. That's the beauty of it.
this is when I do an interview, and they've been called interviews, so I guess that's what they are. People seem to think of them as interviews. It's a different energy, isn't it? A different flavour, and of course it's going to be, because this is just a natural occurrence. And I enjoy it. I get the chance to really participate where I don't very often on most weeknights. In fact, I don't even listen most weeknights. I do need to sleep after all. So it's nice for me to have a chance to really process my thoughts out. For everybody to say, oh, okay, she really thinks that? Weird. Or whatever they think. And it's lovely to just sort of relax and chat with your good selves, all of you that join us. Yeah, so thanks for joining us. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't really see it as an interview, Ninja. I've just seen it as us having a chat,
Yeah.
It's an exchange, so the consciousness that that's there can be expressed. That's why the question was invented. Come on, express yourself. Let's see what you got. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Everybody can express the way they want, how they want, and as long as you remember to duck when you're being requested to join in on a contract that isn't going to benefit your soul. That's what it's all about, a practice. Just to ever walk through life, experiencing, recognizing what's before you, and then choosing whether or not you want to continue with your hand in the fire, or your ears on the burner. Whatever the situation is.
That's a good point, what you just said there, Darren, about duck when you find yourself about to make contract with something, because these are ongoing, aren't they, the contract situations? It's not like we make one and we never make another. The potential for contract is every minute of every day, probably.
Every
so
time
yeah, we do need to be mindful. Yeah. Somebody needs to mute out, I think, while they're not speaking. We've got some strange noises and echoes. If you can, please. I'm not quite sure who it is. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I'm looking forward to having a laptop, and I can participate on the board and then track those things down and make a note of who and number and make sure it never happens again. I'm preparing to produce a radio show, and on my show there will be a mute button.
Well, we do have one. I can mute the suspect mic, but it's nicer when people mute their own end if they're able to, isn't it? So
we'll see how that works. and then complain about the issue after you've created it. It's my favorite thing. Hey, I just shot my toe off. My fucking toe don't hurt. Why is my toe not hurt?
Hey, you guys, with you said about classrooms, Ninja, this is interesting. Yeah. I was thinking, roll call registration we had in school in Britain, I think it's roll call in America. Surely the teacher knows their class after 2 weeks or can count them on their desk or chairs. Why have you got to consent your name every morning before you go into doctrine and programming? And what do you say? I don't know what they say in the US and Canada, guys, but in Britain, I used to say, here, here, you have to, you say your name and you have to say you're here. Do you know what I mean? It was right. It was protocol. You didn't go, I'm your miss, sir, or whatever. You're present was another one. I think in America, perhaps they say. I found that interesting that somebody's thought that doctrine up with a name. And teachers do it as protocol, like a cop would do or something.
Yeah. And this is it. I mean, it's the forgotten one, which is why when it hit me, I wrote it out real quick because, oh my God, we forgot about that one. the register ritual, every day in school, twice a day probably. And it's insidious, isn't it? It's hidden.
The name register.
Yeah, until we become aware of it. As we become aware of it and we correct ourselves, stop the emotion, stop the reaction, stop the pledge, it's done. Right? You can keep your license. You move forward to get to the point where you're right off it until you're comfortable to do the thing, to make the big move until you get your opportunity to do so. Don't go looking for it. That's the grace and ease. It's the practice. That school, I remember the indoctrination of school, and now when I look back, I'm grateful for it. Grateful for the whole shot. I went to school alone. I didn't have anybody sticking up for me.
Quite a bit of feedback, Dan. There's quite a bit of feedback.
I've got a feeling, I don't know, Jeff, do you think it could be yours? Are you muted at the moment?
No, but I'm sat here deadly quiet and not making any noise.
Yeah, but I think there is an echo on your line.
There's a feedback, Jeff. It's a feedback, brother.
Are you able to mute?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, if
please
it is,
try and see.
If it's me.
Yeah, it's you.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Blah blah blah.
Just unmute yourself as soon as you want to speak. You're free to come and go, of course. But I don't want to mute you because then I don't know when you want to speak to unmute. You see, so that's much better when you're muted. Thanks, Jeff.
Roger that, big buddy. CB Radio.
Okay. Yeah, Roger. Yeah.
And that's it, the choice of just pushing that button so you don't interfere with the rest of the show. Or if you're out in the public.
When you think you're silent and you don't realise there's an echo, it's not a big deal. It's fine. We've done it now. No. So, what were we saying? Schools, registrations, yeah. But the thing is, look, those kids have busted that now, and I think we can safely say that if those kids in White's class have busted that at one school in the UK, that's the same as it's been busted in all the schools in the UK. And if it's busted in all the schools in the UK, then it's busted in all the schools everywhere. How about that?
All it takes is for the rest of them to catch up, and that's all we're waiting for.
Yeah, the intent is there. It's been done. The rest are just have to have the awareness about it, but it's already done. Those daily register rituals are already busted now. There are no more contracts, no more legal names in schools. Done. Finished.
One of the best questions ever asked of me by an individual that was within the Saint Germain crowd was so simple. Like, what's your intent? Is your intent what? What is it? Because in that moment, you clear it. Like right there in the moment, you could already have given that thing to the police officer, but after you've given it to him, you could say, yeah, I found it. Changing the story. In the moment we have that space where we've left and we've registered our emotional vote, we can still stop and clear it. The whole system is done. It's now just a matter of waiting. And like one of the other profound things that was said, what if the shift's already happened and we're the only things that need to catch up? That changed my life.
That is interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Just like that. Hello.
That's Bob.
Who's that?
Hey, Bob.
Ooh, as if I didn't know. Hello, Bob. How are you doing?
Good now, Ninja, Paul.
Sorry if it was a long wait for you. Sorry, I'm not the most on the ball with opening up. So, yeah.
Happy New Day. Happy New Day.
Yeah. I don't know if there's time left. I'm sort of running out of Skype credits. But a few days ago I mentioned that I had something.
Yeah. No, you talk away. You've got time.
I had. Yeah. I'd like to share something, and I'd like to share it under the sacred right of the talking stick because of the latency and just because of all the group work I've done over the last 24 years. I've used the talking stick exclusively. and I'm sure you'll all understand what that means. You know, I pick up the talking stick and I talk, and when I finish, I put it down, and there's no interruptions. It's an energetic contract between spiritual adults. My part of the deal is I share my truth, I share my heart. Your part of the deal is you give your time and attention and listen. So, is it okay to go ahead on those terms, Ninja?
Yes, it is with me. There's 11 minutes on the board.
Okay, I'll try and be quick. Okay, so bear with me, and please no interruptions, because it breaks the flow for me. Plus this latency thing. Yeah, something. Barnaby's picked up a squeaky toy. Yeah, the thing I've had simmering in my spiritual kitchen over the past couple of weeks is I'm going to place on the table for a taste test, and it's called "Why Do I Come to This Table?" So I'll start with why I don't come to this table. I do not come to this table for the words. I do not come to this table seeking enlightenment or seeking a guru. I come to this table for the energy that's around the table. And if that energy is nurturing for me, then I will stay. And if it's not nurturing, then I'll leave instantly. Because if it's not nurturing for me, then I'm not doing my job, which is looking after me. I come to the table to notice people that already get it and connect with them. And I come to the table to share my truth and share my heart. For that's all I know. There's an ancient tradition in Australia that proclaims all a man owns is his story, and I'm just trying to live a good one. And so what I love about sharing my truth, or my heart, or whatever you want to call it, is my truth. When I'm standing in my truth, I feel invincible. It's so powerful. For me, my truth just is. For me, my truth is not a negotiable instrument, neither is it an opening gambit for debate or discussion. I'm totally, completely, and utterly not interested in anyone's opinion of my truth, but I am totally, utterly, and completely interested in hearing your truth. So please, please, please feel free to share your truth, share your heart. When you do that, I have a chance to get to know you. So I invite everybody to share their truth, share their heart. Because I love everybody and I would like to get to know everybody. But until people do share their truth and share their heart, I've got no idea who you are. For me, anybody could read out of a book. Show me your heart, because I'd gladly show you mine. So, thank you for your time and attention. I hope it came through clearly. What I love about me is I am joyous in setting my boundaries. And, there was a couple of those in there as well. So thank you, Ninja, and thank you, Paul, and thank you, everybody listening. I'm content. I know who I am. I know I am okay. And I cherry-pick too. So I now lovingly place the talking stick back on the table. Thank you so much. Finished.
Yeah, that was nice, Bob. That was nice. I'd like to share my story, but it's a bit dark in places, and I don't want to go making people cry. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what Bob's done is given an opportunity for one of the in-house video production team to take that part of this show and make something with that, because that was beautiful and it was so well just flowing together, just so well said. I would really, really think there was some great value in that statement that you shared there. That not statement, that's wrong. That moment where you shared with us, great value and content there. I think we will certainly be using some of that with permission, Bob, if you don't object.
Ninja, even with my music, I share for free. That's the tradition of folk music. And I found me in about 1991. So I didn't come to this table to find Gaia or Kate or anybody. And I cherry-picked too. The Arthur Christian fellow, I went to his website about 4 or 5 years ago. And for me, there was nothing there for me. It didn't connect on an energetic level. There were just lots of words. And I live in heart space, and words now are becoming more and more meaningless. I just feel things. And with Kate's work, I've never read anything of Kate's work. I connect with her energetically, her heart and her spirit. And Santos Bonacci, I love the guy. I love any being that's living their own truth and living their own passion, and that they are content in it. But it's their gig. It's not my gig. It's like with Santos, I'm not waiting for a Prometheus to enter Uranus before I move forward in my own evolution. It's whatever resonates with my heart. Whatever resonates with my heart, that's where I go. That's where I cherry-pick my little bits of truth and enfold them into my own truth. And it is my own truth. This concept of, there's only one truth. There's only the universal truth. Now, for me, for that statement to be true, every being in the universe would have to agree that that statement was true. So, this is just my one perception, which is as equally as valid as everybody else's perception, is that when everybody is standing heart-centered in their own truth, then the picture will be complete.
Hey.
If everybody shared their own truth, we would all have real information to work with, and not this codependent concept of, I can't say that because it will upset somebody. For me, by actually denying them your truth, you are harming them more than what you're doing by lying to them by not sharing your truth. So I'm big enough to take your truth. All you've got to do is own what you say. Do not hide behind we statements or you statements. Just stay in the I. When this happens, this is how I feel. This has been my experience. This is my truth. So thank you. Love you all. This is such a beautiful place, and I'm totally blown away with my own journey. I wish I had the gift of the Vulcan mind meld, so I could connect with your minds, connect with your hearts, so that you could feel the contentment and the centeredness and the bliss that I feel. The police could come and drag me away and lock me in prison, but they cannot take away the greatest gift that I have. I know who I am. And I just wish that for every being on the planet. So thank you all. I need a coffee now and a hug.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Bob. Man, that was nice, mate. Thank you. That's cool, Bob. Yeah.
I love it. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. Who have we got?
Hi.
Hi. I don't know who that is, but welcome.
Happy New Now.
Happy New Now. Happy.
How flows it? Stepping into. You have any exciting experiences?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's what life's about. Yeah.
Are you a first-time caller?
Hello? I'm not a first caller.
Hello. Are you not a first one? Oh, you are? Okay. What do you call yourself? What name can we... Not name, but, what reference can we give you? There's too much dead air. There's too much dead air for me. You're making me itchy here. Come on now. What have you got to say?
I really enjoyed Bob's touch on it.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. It really is.
Yeah.
You just have to catch ourselves when we're making that definition outside of ourselves.
When Bob said he needed a hug, I sent you a hug. I hope you felt it, Bob.
Totally. And Bob, I already do feel you from here. It's my Job.
Yeah, and for me, that's the beauty of the energetic connection. Because I sense. I've always been very sensitive and put down for it, but I love this sensitivity that I have because my heart tells me where to go and what I can trust. And, when I'm out in the public, I use it, and I've got a range of about 30 or 40 feet. But Barnaby, his goes for miles. So when little Barnaby barks and lifts his little paw, he's warning me. And excuse the profane language, I use Barnaby as my long-range arsehole detector because he's telling me that there's someone approaching that's got a bad energy. And then when they get within 30 or 40 feet of me, it's confirmed. I feel it. It's like, oh, there's a snake approaching, Ooh, so I love this energetic sense.
Not a snake.
It's beyond the mind. It's real sort of visceral. I don't know. It's hard to describe. But for me,
they don't have the clouded perceptions. They don't have the experience of clouded perceptions. They have a capacity to act in service because they are in service as animals here on this realm. So they act always in service. A happy dog is a dog working for you. If you think making your dog do things like get off the couch or go to this certain spot to pee or not cross this point in the yard is mean, you're doing yourself a great disservice as well as the dog. This is the truth in nature. It's amazing when we take that responsibility back. Because not only is it just removing the name and having the understanding that you are Kate, Colt, or Cote Kate, masculine, feminine, pick one, or in between, it's the same. However you apply to it. I'm looking forward to the day where silence reigns. I'll probably be the first one to slap someone in the lips when they open up. No, we just went through 100 million years of that. Let's not do that again. Geez, the last time someone started talking. We have infinite potential when we find that centered spot. That's what Bob expresses from. His point of view is from that truth of love. Many of us have been picked on, and we don't even realize it still plagues us. That's why we're in a state of defense in moments when somebody challenges our beliefs by simply sharing a point of view. It's a disservice to the self, because I, for one, contract with no one who spells fear, period. I don't need to define it any other way. It's either love or fear. It's that simple for me. Understanding this in love, it's apparent always. So that space, envious to be ruled by the winds and the tides. What a joy. Because that'd be the only place I'd choose to put myself under rule. When we recognize our emotions are our telltales, we free ourselves. And the finger stops being pointed outward. Because that is a lie to ourselves, a great disservice. When we define someone as less than, the child of light, the child of God, we then create the space within our own system, our virtual bubble, that produces the reactions and the energy that we share as a hive. I, for one, am done with us and them. I want to spit in the eye, but I know that it won't serve, so I shut up and step away and say, no contract. This is your choice in every moment of the day. Every time you go, you or they, know you're contracting with energy that will enslave you greater than the name. Because at the end of the day, unless someone asks you for the name, there's no contract even before you, so that's a big motherfucking if. That just doesn't need to be in play. I love everybody, even the ones who yell and scream, rant and rave, drunken, passed out, rude, slap their wives, slap their husbands, beat their kids. I will love them unconditionally. My acceptance of them does not allow them to further the performance, especially in my presence. This is your choice, and it is always your choice. This is not right or wrong. This, again, is a disservice to the self to claim such an event before you, for you are lying to yourself, clearly in absolute denial that you have an ego at large. It serves you if you observe it. Your lips are your service. This is the truth that only you will witness. I am nothing more than an echo in time, space, the Big Bang. I am riding a wave, and I wax my board daily. I choose where I throw my board these days because I know what I hear will cause karmatic or equational balances to be cast. It's not my game. I don't make the rules, nor does anyone else, except for how they perform within it. Us and them is done. I pray for all who choose to walk that path in the next days, for it will become very apparent that it is not the path you should have chose. Then again, should you shit it all over yourself in that moment, or just correct? We can correct anytime, any place, anywhere, any circumstance and situations, as long as we monitor our reactions, emotions, and then step into our truth and ask ourselves, is this who I am? Because even though I see tyranny from the lips of those who profess love, I love them knowing that they are serving and delivering energies that will serve the greater good of all. And I no longer need to participate in such affairs because someone has that karma covered. I am grateful for that, and I thank all who wish to carry on in that realm. And I beckon you to join me in the truth that us and them, right or wrong, good, bad, dark, evil, magical, no matter how you define it, is an illusion. Just like you know you're the singularity, except for you forget whenever your emotions arise.
That's very true. Thanks for that. I'm sorry, I thought you'd take.
Oh, I'm done.
We might have a Skype lag between us. Yeah, thanks for that, Darren. I didn't mean to cut you off in your flow there. If I did, I apologise. I'm not quite at that. I'm not quite at that point yet. I'm still working towards that point. Yeah. So that's a nice reminder.
I can never claim to have it.
Yeah.
Because you know what happened? I say I am that. I do. I'm I. Universe says, oh, some more. He needs some more experiences so he can he's got it right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, very true. Now, look, I said we weren't going to roll over, and we have rolled over just a short while ago. If anybody is on the call who hasn't spoken yet, please take your opportunity because I'm going to be rounding up shortly. So no pressure or anything. But I'm not sure if we've heard from everybody on the call. So now's your chance. Without too much dead air in between.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, beautiful. Really enjoyed this. And, I love it because my dad's an auctioneer, and so I can really get with your flow. So that's just so beautiful. And I get so much cherry picking from Darren and Kate and Ninja and Paul and everybody. It's just helped me so much, and I just wanted to say I really love the music today, so thank you. And that was what I really wanted to say. I love you all.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. It's Janet, isn't it? I'm not very good with names. Sorry if I got that wrong.
Yeah, you did. That's it. Nice.
Okay. Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to play another song, and before I do that, please, last words from Paul, and if you have any, mate.
Yeah, no, earlier on there, it went completely out of my head, but I wanted to mention about Scota, the Romans called. There was pirates from Ireland and Scotland, and they called them. This is well before Scotland when it was still Caledonia, and they called them Scotai. It was basically Scot with an I. And what I found very, very interesting, the Romans called them Scotai, and they were pirates. Let's come back to that Phoenician sea people again.
Interesting.
That's
wow.
funny.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
So the pirates. I mean, the pirates didn't say "ar"; they said "hurl."
Aye.
I mean, the point of going over these histories and clues is only that. It's only for the clues. I mean, we know we don't really know the truth of any of it in the sense that, you know, we weren't there, or if we were there, we can't remember. So all we're doing is providing clues. And if any of it resonates, then it resonates. And if any of it sparks your interest and you go and do your own research or, you know, bust open some words or some other things and bring it to the table, by all means, you know. That's all we're doing. We're just looking for clues. And it seems to me there's an awful lot of them.
Yeah, exactly, Ninja. There is, like, so when you start to join the dots, you know, you get to see, wait a minute, this isn't right.
Right. Okay. Well, look. On that note, I'm gonna skip to song. I don't know if anyone has a request, then you know, let me know. I haven't chosen one yet, but you need to maybe shout or type real quick because I am kind of looking in the Skype rooms to see if anyone's got a favorite. Anybody on the call got a favourite they want me to play?
Yeah, I like the one that plays always at the start of the show. I love that song.
Oh, get out of it. I'm not playing that. You've heard it already tonight.
Thanks, Ninja. Thank you, Ninja.
How about another one? Anyone? You can choose a different one, Paul.
I actually asked her last time if she would upload the Fields of Arthur and Rye, the one she got the name from.
Oh.
She's it's some tapes, Paul. It'd be a nightmare to find it.
Oh, yeah. That's actually, now that's interesting. Fields of Arthur and Rye, the Irish folk song, is a favourite of mine. I actually know that one quite well. And, oh yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it, because I haven't heard it for a long time. It's very sad. It makes me very emotional.
Yeah, and it's just a very sad song, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. If anybody doesn't know it, then Google it and listen. Fields of Arthur and Rye. It's a beautiful, haunting song about a young couple who are very much in love, a married couple. They have children, and he's taken away by the British, who are, you know, ruling over Ireland at the time, because they were hungry, and he took some corn or something from his landlord's field for a store, and they sent him as a punishment to Van Diemen's Land, to Tasmania, on a ship, and she's wailing his leaving, you know, and it's very, very sad and very haunting melody. And he says, you know, raise the children and all that, and he loves her so much. And see, this is what they did. You see, they ripped families apart and just sent men away and left the mothers and children to fend for themselves while they starved. But anyway, on that note, I'm gonna play.
Well, Ninja, just on that, I mean, we can see the conditioning and how it instilled such fears in the population, right? Like, we can see why we have a legacy. We have people who are willfully blinding themselves due to the truth of this. Back in the burning days, men had to lock their doors to their wives or face seeing the entire family destroyed. Now, you think of what was instilled into that first generation. And then the second generation in regards to standing in truth and voicing your opinion. We have now a hardened consciousness of fear that's backed by real live memory of such an occurrence. So this is where I developed my compassion for those who put their blinders on. And more importantly, the compassion for myself, because ultimately I'm the one choosing to share in that moment. So if I create any kind of energy in there, that's mine. That's
okay, we've got somebody unmuted that's probably forgotten they're unmuted. Thank you for that, Darren. I'm going to play. I'm going to play a song now, and so I would really like it if everybody would mute out while they listen. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm not rolling over for the full hour, but it's very late here, and I actually didn't manage to get a ninja nap today, so I'm really falling over at the moment. So with lots of love to everybody, and thank you so much for joining us and for listening in. And I'm going to play, seeing as we were just talking about a love song, a very sad tale of love, I'm going to play another one of Kate's I haven't heard yet, called Simple Love.
Thank you, Ninja.
I never thought I'd take a chance on love again, but there you were outshining the dark that was my pain. It seemed so useless, a drop of water in the sand. This desert felt so empty, but you helped me understand how much it meant to be in love. You made us one, complete in every detail, a painting in the sun. You gave my world new meaning and carved it out of stone. This place of hollow hearts, this place of shallow souls. I never wanted anything but simple love. You gave me hope in more than just a dream tonight. I never gave a second thought, because you're right, you always knew it deep inside that we'd be one. In this lifetime, it's impossible to show intense and absolute emotions we both know. Was to say what I felt, countless they would be, 1,000 pictures of 1,000 words of peace. There is a place called heaven, we make it here on earth. We share a common spirit, we share a common word. As one we'll be together, creating love at will. Destined to be more than lovers, destiny fulfilled. I never wanted anything but simple love. You gave me hope in more than just a dream tonight. I never gave a second thought, because you're right, you always knew it deep inside that we'd be one. I never wanted
breaking the earliest spells and contracts within the current education, or better termed indoctrination system, can be easily achieved. No more ritual, fictional, system-registered legal name calling in class. As all children learn what is really going on, their choices and voices will affect ever greater change in the school system, which will, by default, cease to exist entirely, or it will morph into a consenting group of beings who simply wish to come together to share ideas and learn whatever they wish to learn in any given moment of now. Curriculums will cease to exist. Teachers will become something like supportive assistants. School buildings will become gathering spaces for all. No legal names, no contract, just fun. Okay, thanks for putting up with me while I read that out, everybody. And I'm now going to move on to see. Oh, yeah, I'm going to open up Paul's mic now. Hey, Paul.
What's happening, then?
What's happening?
Yeah, I was just listening to that. That was nice.
Yeah,
that was nice,
yeah, a slight blip there in there. I might be able to re-record that part and have that inserted. Oh, the power of editing, huh? So there we are. But
That's
anyway,
it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said nice to you a couple of days ago, I never really learned anything at school. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't until I left that I actually started to educate myself.
This is interesting, isn't it? Because I think what we learn in school, obviously, a lot of potentially useless factoids and numbers and dates and measurements. But yes, I mean, but thank goodness for the day and age we now live in, where everything is at the click of a mouse in terms of information and research ability. And so, wow. Yeah, the children today, I mean, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I mean, it's going crazy. Did you see earlier the latest update from the UK, Paul, with our little white knight? with our little white knight and her friends. The daily register ritual, people, please listen to this, everybody, has today, not today, when was it? Yesterday or the day before, been busted. Those kids didn't answer to the names when they were called out of the register in school. It's already happened. I mean, my gosh, I was so excited. I didn't read that until this morning. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, it's done, isn't it? I mean, how many dones does it have to be done?
Yeah, it's like everybody who's translating a lot of case documents, like the Babylon Has Fallen document. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Like what I was saying yesterday about the 72 languages. As soon as that's translated into the 72 languages, the game over. That's it's already game over now. But when that's translated into the 72 languages of the world, what can you say? It's not something that really interesting, like.
Yeah, well, indeed. I mean, we. Oh, by the way, let me put a shout out for translators. I mean, look, people, this isn't. Well, how can I explain it? There's no official translations. Let me make that clear. These are as the Kate of Gaia Trans WordPress site explains on the homepage. The translations are user translations. They're done voluntarily. I don't, pre-order them. I don't have a team of translators who I say, oh, you're going to do this one next. It isn't like that. What it is people just decide to do it, and they send me the document, and they can choose which ones they do. They're not obliged to do any particular one. Obviously Babylon Has Fallen has seemed to inspire a lot of people to come forward and translate that one first. Hopefully those same people or other people with that particular language skill will translate some of the others too. So what I want to do is put a call out for translators of languages that are as yet not on the site. We would really, really, really like somebody to do a Cantonese, maybe an Urdu, or some of these other languages that are not necessarily Western European, Eastern European. Yeah. So if anybody has that ability, and I'm sure there must be someone, please do go to the Kate of Gaia trans.wordpress.com site and have a look around and see what's there, or just go to the Kate's Writings page, kateofgaia.wordpress.com, Kate's Writings, and have a look at what's there and see if you can translate any of it. Be very, very grateful.
Yeah, hats off to everybody who's took their time out to do this. Do you know, hats off to them.
It's actually an extremely difficult thing to do. I know because I happen to be around the guy that translates the Norwegian stuff, Stråler, and it when you're very careful, when you're painstaking, when you're determined to get not only the accuracy but the intent and the deep, sort of resonant feeling of the original document, then that's going to give you some brain ache. That's going to put you through some check. About that morning and afternoon ritual when the teacher reads the names out loud from the class register with eyes down, waiting for verbal responses from each child to confirm their presence and, more importantly, agree to being that registered legal name. No more. Time to teach your children they are not a legal name. And teach them to stop answering, to stop contracting in voice when the teacher calls that legal name from the class register. No more automatic replies of "Here, miss," or "Present, sir." No more daily reinforced contracts. Let the children sit silent, smiling. Let their silence force the teacher to look up and see them and make eye contact with them. At first, the teachers will be confused. Silence usually means absence. So, no doubt, the teacher will ask them, "I just called your name. Why didn't you respond?" And then, the golden moment of truth. That is not me. The legal name you seek is written in that register of yours. Arm your children with any amount of printed material to hand to their teacher to further explain their new position. For Babylon is fallen, the long and the short of it. I who shall not be legally named, etc. All by Kate of Gaia. This will ultimately force teachers to acknowledge the presence of their students by witnessing with the evidence of their own eyes those living beings who are in attendance. Changes of it. Ooh, not
exactly. Exactly.
So it is a very, very difficult thing to do, and it is very, very much appreciated. So yeah, anyway, so that's that out of the way on the trannies. We call them trannies for obvious reasons. Well, it just came to me and I thought, oh,
yeah, it sounds better, doesn't it? Sounds better, twang it.
Yeah, the pun was definitely intended. I mean, obviously with Kate being transgender and, you know, what else are you going to call a translation? That was, yeah, come on. So that's what that.
Exactly.
for anybody who didn't twig onto that just yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what did we want to talk about tonight, Paul?
I don't know, Nancy. I think we were going to speak about a bit of history and a bit about, you know, the Celtic Bryphonic peoples and basically taking it back to this what's it, Kate calls it, religio-psychosis, chosenitis.
Religiocosis, chosenitis, but religiocosis.
Yeah, that's a line, that is a line. Like, yeah, and this Hebrew connection to Scotland and, well, I would say to Ireland, Scotland and Wales. Do you know, bits and bobs about that now. Like I was reading today, like, say, about the Celtic Empire. And a lot of people haven't really heard much of the Celtic Empire. That was, when I get the date right, that would be 800 BC. And I was thinking, you know, that would be the same time as the Phoenician Empire. They had their empire going up. That was for 6,000 years before Carthage was sacked by the Romans. So the Phoenicians and the Celtics must have came across each other on their travels and probably done a fair bit of trading by the looks of things, Ninja. Because they're finding stuff. They start to refer to the Celtic nations as during the Hallstatt period. And that was because they found lots of Celtic gold and stuff buried in Austria. And so you start to look at the Celtic empires and it stretched from Ireland to Asia Minor. Because when you look at Newgrange in Ireland, there's a lot of stones outside. And they have basically carvings on the stone that came from Asia Minor. So it shows that the Celtic nations, they weren't as savage and as stupid as what the Romans portrayed us to be savage-like and uncouth, you could say, you know. And so I started to look into that a long time ago, but as I say, Ninja, we was going to speak about it. I had to basically do a wee bit of research today, get it fresh in my mind for tonight, do you know what I mean? So I've been looking at that and basically looking at how the empire basically stretched, as I say, for Asia Minor, and that's in Germany, and you know what I mean? It's all over basically Western Europe as well. You could have classed as the Celtic peoples, and when I started to look at that a while back, I started to look at. They said that the Celts were the first to do roads. You know, the Romans, we built the roads, but it was actually the Celtic peoples. What they would do is they would cut down a tree. And they would lay the trees out, so basically the trees were...
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Hello, good evening everybody. This is Ninja hosting for you this evening while Kate has a much deserved and well-needed night off. I'm going to be having Paul join me shortly, and we're going to be having a bit of a chat about this, that, and the other, as we do. But before I do that, I'm actually going to read the daily register ritual, and the reason I'm going to read that is because I've been asked to read it and record it for use on a video. And so I thought, well, this show is recorded and I've got an opportunity to do that, so that later on those who make the videos for the Cartes Kids Cove can pick that up and use it. So what I'm going to do is do that straight away, and then we can get that out of the way, and then we can move on to what we've got planned for this evening. So, Paul, I can see you on the board, mate, but as I've just explained, I'm going to read this first, and then I'm going to open up your line, and then we can have a wee chat. So here we go, everybody. Now, I'm going to read it a little bit slower than I might normally do for purposes of making it very clear, because this is, for a video. So here we go. The daily register ritual and how to bust it. We all know about the legal name fraud via the birth certificate registration process. This register process results in a spiritual contract which allows others to rule over our divine feminine creative essence, while all use of that registered legal name results in a life of voluntary, if ignorant, slavery. Any contract based in fraud is null and void once the fraud is revealed. And it has been revealed. However, not everyone is fully aware of all of this. For those who are aware and still sending their children into the school systems, there is the matter of the forgotten daily register or register. Yes, we forgot, didn't we? We forgot all